Many days over the past 10 years, it's just South Beer. You used to just gather with all the crowds of other things.
The most exciting thing yet to come is really beginning the
construction process, translating those drawings into something
weight off my shoulders
and really ultimately, getting to what we want to do with this space.
And this is our story.
So that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take.
It sure enough did. Yeah, it's incredible.
So I hear you guys have been doing a little work.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, aside from getting sidetracked and derailed, we've been pretty damn busy building this brewery these past couple months, doing everything from working the floor to electric to getting these beautiful tanks in here. I feel like if you don't go through this saga and these turns and wins and losses, then it's different at the end. It's almost like you're invested. Even you have to invest financially, but you certainly have to invest like emotionally, physically. Like it's a full body experience opening up a brewery. At the end of the day, I mean, when we're pouring that first pint, I think it's going to mean so much more. Mm-hmm. I think like the universe kind of puts all these challenges in front of you to kind of just mold you into a true entrepreneur, because now this is our baby. We've been through hell and back trying to open this place. Now it just means more now. There's more soul behind the project.
Yeah, I mean, actually what you just said brings, that old expression to mind, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And we are definitely stronger. And I think everything that we've gone through will make us just better in terms of what happens when those doors finally do open for the first time and real people come in and not contractors.
We were ready to go. And it looked like things were going to fall into place and we were going to hit the ground running with the construction. All of the final plans, the drawings from the architects and engineers, they were all ready, and we were about to take them down to the town and get them approved for permits and kind of wrangle all of our tradesmen together and start building this thing. And then the bottom kind of fell out.
Yeah, the brakes, we really screeched to a halt with big barrier in front of us. And
yeah,
it really does come to mind, that every brewer that you always talk about is every brewery in New Jersey has a story about how the pain of getting the brewery started, and we were no exception.
I think most gratifying for me was when we started putting these uni tanks in and the bright tanks in. The scary thing is that all the measurements for these tanks and where we cut the floor drains, these architects who don't know anything about brewing asked me what the dimensions were. And at the time I was like, yeah, they're this. But then I was thinking about it as we got closer to delivery. I'm like, oh my God, did I get the dimensions right? I remember Dan, our plumber, was like, oh, these trench drains are kind of close to the wall, man. I hope we cut them right. I'm like, yeah, me too. We're gonna have a very big problem because I'm not going through that whole floor fiasco again of cutting into the floor. But then when they came and put the first uni tank in here, and to see how much room we had, it was like, holy shit, I did it. Yeah. It was like, all right.
We actually purchased our equipment, I want to say a year and a half ago. It's been in storage mostly in Oregon for the last year and a half. We finally got it delivered, and they didn't deliver it right here. They delivered it actually to a rigging company. And there's a specialized group of people who really help us get everything into place. We need forklifts, all sorts of stuff to get it in here. The hairiest thing actually is something that we actually already had here. So the equipment all came in. It was an amazing endeavor to watch them bring it all in. But the very first thing that we brought in was our glycol chiller, which we had in storage a couple of doors down. And that had to go on a platform that we built 14 feet in the air. And so watching those guys get that thing up there was amazing, scary, nerve-wracking, all of the above. And I think when they finally got it up there, we both sort of just almost sort of collapsed. That it was up there and no one was hurt, and the equipment was up in where it's supposed to be.
I don't think we anticipated going through such difficult. I mean, we knew it was going to be hard, but it was really a punch in the mouth some days. And I think it just, like you said earlier, kind of hardened us in a good way. And I think it needed to happen. I'm up for any challenge after what we went through, what we learned together. I think we're a great team. I think everybody that's behind this brewery just makes it even stronger. So,
you know, we had a blackout period, not due to the beer, for 7-8 months, and we made it through that, and now I think we're just raring to go and excited about the possibilities.
So we live on one block, and Neil's my next door neighbor. My in-laws live across the street, and then Don, our general contractor, lives on 3 houses up on my side.
Yeah.
So
Our side.
Yeah, our side. So the whole block refers to them as the boys because they're always together, and they've done so much construction in New Jersey for all these years, and they were probably the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Old school Jersey Italian guys, so sweet.
And they're the boys, but they're all in their 70s up to like 80.
Yeah, so Freddie is going to be 80, and he's an amazing carpenter.
Pat's 78.
Pat's 78. Don's the baby, so he's younger, but they're so happy to come here every day. Any general contractor you hire would just basically follow plans and just do what's on the plans, but they really put their heart and soul into the final product, and they're like, but this will look so much nicer. This will look so much nicer. Like the little things on this bar over here, the finishes that they have, that's all custom woodworking that they did. They better come work for us in some capacity, because I'm going to miss coming down here.
We'll have to little repair work here and there.
And just shooting the shit with them every day. And
they are the sweetest, nicest people you're ever going to meet.
So I think this part of the story kind of kicks off on St. Patrick's Day of 2022. It was really funny because we thought this was fate, because the guy rolled up, the subcontractor rolled up, and the name of his company was it was Shamrock.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh my God, it's definitely meant to be, like St. Patrick's Day, beer, cool, let's cut this floor. So we cut the floor, the trench drains, and that process was a headache in itself, literally and figuratively, both for us and our neighbors. We pretty much shook this block. This floor was so thick just to cut through, and it was definitely a challenge. So we got the floor cut, and then that's when we basically hit a wall, blackout, due to our personal saga of opening up a brewery. We won't get into the details. I just like to leave that in the past. Once we picked back up, it was literally, I think, a year to the date since we cut the floor until we were working on this floor, getting it prepped again. We were down here with the contractors drilling for a very long time because the trenches go all the way back, and then just prepping the floor for the pour. We also needed to run a bunch of electrical conduit underneath it. So this floor is kind of state of the art. It's got drainage, it's got power for everything in this brewery. And also what we need to do is raise it 5 inches. There used to be a step coming through our door. I mean, that day, this huge cement truck, and I think they had a team of like almost 10 guys in here with huge boots on, and they literally put a slide into the brewery and just dumped concrete, and it took I think 3 truckloads of concrete. That's when the real stuff started happening, the real construction. The brewery started coming to life once that floor was done.
We actually had to go track down the original architect for this building in order to figure out how to exactly reconstruct the areas where we cut the drains in. And we found him. We actually found a plan that had his phone number written on the side, and we called them up, and they were very helpful in helping us resolve that situation.
When you're building a brewery, I was thinking about it the other day, like it shouldn't work. None of this should work, but somehow it does because of the people that are behind it.
As this most recent chapter comes to an end, there's been highs and lows. What do you say to it?
Haha! Nah, bring it on. F***ing bring it on. So a lot of this is very tangible. What we're sitting in the brewery with the equipment. You can see paint on the walls, tile on the bar top starting to go in. There's a ton of work that's still going on in the background, which is going to enable us to be able to brew craft beer in Bloomfield. And that's dealing with our state licensing. Long story short, what essentially needs to happen is we need a representative from the New Jersey ABC to come out and do a final inspection of our space. But they also need the certificate of occupancy from the town. So that kind of makes you work in order, which is unfortunate for this situation. Essentially, we have to finish all the construction here, call the town, get our final inspection, get our certificate of occupancy, and then we can move forward with the state ABC, who then comes out, does another inspection, and then hopefully gives us our license to start brewing. We cannot brew until we have that license, so we're going to be at the mercy of the state.
So Mark, I know during the time that we were sitting around waiting, we were both extremely frustrated. Is this thing ever going to happen? But in reality, they say that the universe works in strange ways and things really align. And the reality is the delay worked out well, particularly for you.
Yeah, there was a time where we were expecting to open up Varitage like June of 2022 or summer of 2022. And it turned out that my wife is pregnant. And we were expecting our son the first week of June. I don't know. We were supposed to open and my wife was pregnant, and I was not only going to start probably the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life, which I thought was the most challenging thing at the time.
You thought it was.
I thought it was opening a brewery, but it was becoming a dad. It was really hard to kind of deal with all the bullshit, like every day of the frustrations of trying to open or trying to like gain ground towards something positive with the brewery, while also being exhausted, and also being extremely happy at the same time, becoming a dad for the first time and just being a dad. Bring him in here and just kind of like walk him around and take pictures and videos and just, talk to him. Just be kind of present in the space before the chaos in here starts. So a lot of this is for him. So I'm glad that he was around to kind of, he's not going to remember any of this shit, but there's enough videos and pictures and stories to say and note that he was part of this. So I'm really kind of happy how everything played out.
No, it's, like I said, things work out for a reason.
Yeah.
That, Nico, is the best thing you will ever do.
Yeah. Cool. Just take 2 minutes. Emotionally for me, starting to switch gears to, all right, now I have to get back to my craft. The technology behind brewing has changed even over these past 2 years. Different products, different advancements with microbiology from the yeast side of things and the hops as well. We were down in CBC in Nashville and you saw all the new products. So there's a lot to kind of relearn and kind of get back into that zone of, oh yeah, I forgot I'm a brewer, as well as a business owner and a designer of the space. So
yeah, my anxiety is different.
Yeah.
It's like I had anxiety about, is this ever going to get done? And now, sort of like what you're saying, the anxiety of, oh my God, this thing's going to happen, and all the stuff that you figure out the brewing side, because that's obviously the most important thing. We need product to sell, but then all the from when it's in the kegs, from then on is sort of partially my area, and how are we going to do all that and get people on board to help us sell it, and how are we going to figure out how to pay for it, and how much we're going to charge for it, and all these things that I used to do about 30 years ago, I have to sort of dredge back up and put to use.
So when are we going to hear from you next?
So once the state comes in and gives us our license, I think the next time that we're going to chat is once we're brewing. So take you guys into the brewery, into the production area, show you what making the first Varitage beers look like, and then also kind of checking in with opening day and seeing people's reactions. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
And what people are really anticipating.
Yeah,
we hear from, even with the door open, just people walking by on the street.
Yeah, we had to black out the windows back here because once the tanks came, people are like super excited now. So yeah, we're gonna see everybody's reactions in the finished space and kind of look back and kind of close the chapter of building Varitage, because it'll be built and the beer will be brewed.
And the beer will be flowing.
Yeah, flowing.